Alright, today we're going to work on some of the old Suburban here. Got my cool old pinstripe on there. We gotta get this old girl sold. I gotta get it sold and get I got too much going on. I gotta get this sold so I can get other projects done. I got my budget build blazer. I want to put more into it. I got my big K5 blazer out there. I got a 4-speed for it. I got everything to do. The only thing I don't have is the flywheel and clutch. So I want to get a really nice good clutch and a really nice good flywheel because it does have 454 in there. But all I got to do is I believe I have all the parts I need. I need to go steal a lifter out of the other one of the other motors I got laying around, and then they are going to the scrapyard. I am done right now with small blocks. Everything from now on is going to be LS. If this goes in a week, then LS. If the motor goes in my budget build blazer, that's supposed to be LS swapped anyways, so I just wanted to get it running for now with an old motor I had laying around. So what I'm going to do is get this leveler off of here, get this plastic and tape torn off, and show you what we're doing. I'm going to vacuum the motor out instead of blowing it out. And this lifter right here is the one that was bad. A lot of people say don't use used parts in a new motor and all, whatever, you know. This motor's not meant to last forever. You know, by the time you put a new cam in it, new lifters in it, and then you do you know, crank rods, mains, all that stuff, I don't plan on running this that long. You know, it's going to be a good motor. It's going to run good. It ain't going to smoke. It's going to have power, and it's going to last. That's the decision I made on this motor. So it's going up for sale if nobody buys it. I'll just keep fixing till it does. So got my son here with me today. He's got a torn shoulder muscle or something they're trying to get figured out right now. Hurt himself at work, but he's just here paying attention with me. We're dreaming about builds that are going to go on the channel here someday. So next we're going to go ahead and put the push rods in. I bought brand new push rods since 5 of the 8 were bent on the driver's side here, so I figured might as well just put all new push rods in it. So I'll get those set in, and then I'll show you how I adjust all of them. Alright, here we go. I got all the push rods put in. My son's helping me.
Howdy.
So what you do is you just drop the push rod in the hole. Okay, there you go. You can see it. It just goes on the lifter right there, sits in that pocket, and then make sure it's in here good. And then what I do is just tighten this 5/8 bolt until you cannot move this anymore. Till, like, I mean, don't crank it down. Or you can do, when you start to spin the push rod back and forth, see, that's kind of a little bit loose, but I want to go back through. See, that one's about right.
So that one's, when you get it to actually turn over, obviously it's going to flex and move, so you go back through. Every time you turn it over, you take your valve covers back off, and you just do minor adjustments, right?
Well, if you do it this way, I've watched a guy that's an engine builder that's been doing this for years, and he said what he does is he'll go through and tighten this up, and he'll turn the motor, he'll do that, he'll tighten them all up till these, see, that's got no slack in it. It won't go up or down, and it just barely has tension on it. So what you do, and then you turn the motor 90 degrees, like that. See, you start at 12 o'clock, go to 3 o'clock, like that. Turn it 90 degrees, then go back again and check all of the push rods again. Keep doing that until you've turned the motor over 2 complete rotations. That means intake, exhaust, every valve is opened and closed on every stroke, and you had a chance to get through it. Then what he says to do on brand new lifters is to go ahead and tighten it 3/4 turns. Now, the only problem I have right now is these aren't new lifters, but it's been a while since this motor ran. So I don't know if they've leaked the oil out and I could consider them empty or not. What I might do is turn them a half turn tight, and then I'm only a quarter turn off. If they're clanging and rattling just a little bit, I know all I got to do is go back and turn them a quarter turn. So that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to go through and tighten all these back down. The one thing I got to remember is when I turn the motor over, the oil pump rod came out. So I have to find that, clean it up, and get it fished down back in there. That's going to be quite a bit of an issue. But anyway, then I'm going to start assembling the motor. So I don't know if this is anything you guys can watch or not, but this is basically how to put push rods in and tighten your rockers. So that's it for now. Some quick chicken, and then we're gonna have rice-a-roni chicken with it. I went through my third turnaround, and everything's looking pretty good. Everything's turning around pretty smooth. The only thing I hear a little bit, I think, is just the torque converter touching the flex plate, because that's not hooked up yet. But I think everything else is looking pretty good. I just had that last one go, so that valve must have been all the way open first time I went to tighten it. And then as I go through, there was no tension at all on it. So I just keep going through. See, like this one you can't turn, so the tension's on it. So this valve's starting to open, and this one's, you know, completely closed because you can still spin it. So what I'm doing is just going to where you can spin it like that, but no up and down play in here. So gotta go answer the phone. Okay, so I'm going to go through and spin it for the fourth 90-degree turn, so that'd be technically like one full rotation of the motor. But we're going to go 8 90-degree turns, and that should make sure all the valves are tightened. I'll still go a couple past that. And I'm not sure what to do, because if the valves are empty, you're supposed to pump it, you're supposed to let it go 3/4 of a turn. I think I'm going to try half turn and see, because the lifters might be pumped up some. You know what? I think he said I'm going to have to go back and watch the motor several times, turn it over by hand. Be very careful of that crank bolt. I had some problems with mine earlier on in the build, and you got to be very careful with that little bugger. Sometimes they like to strip out too easily, so be very careful of that crank bolt so you don't have a headache in the future. I actually turned mine over by the 3. I used the other bolts and not the crank bolt. See, the crank bolt's still loose, because I only felt that go on a few threads. The only problem I'm dealing with now is I don't have the timing chain tab, so I'm gonna have to worry about that here real quick. I should have thought about it sooner. Now, what the guy that I watched do this said that if the lifters are dry, to go ahead and do this, but I've read through several comments and they also said to do the same thing. Now, I've went through, and all these are just turnable. Well, they're all just turnable at different stages. None of them are loose. So what they say to do now is to take and turn this 3/4 of a turn. So you want 3 90s on each turn. It doesn't matter if the valve's open or closed or not. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Even though I replaced one of them, now it's got tension on it, so that one I think it was that I ended up doing. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn it this 3/4 of a turn, and if I have a problem, that's the first thing I'm going to come back to. So what I mean by 3/4 of a turn is, see, you got here, so you can do it in 3 90s. So you can do 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you saw that with my big arm in the way. Okay, so start here, do a 90. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, that seems tight, but we'll see how that works. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 390s. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all this and get you back in a minute. Definitely something very important to keep your eyes on is this little fella right here. This is the rod that goes from your oil pump, the bottom of the engine. And what it is there's a little sleeve that fits on down there. And what happened when I turned the motor over one time to get to the bottom end, this fell out onto the ground. I picked it up, put it on my workbench, and for some reason the workbench ate it and I can't find it. So I took this one out of another motor I have outside. I'm really wanting to get rid of those motors, but also I'm not either, because I had to rob a lifter out of one earlier in this. So what you do is I'm going to try sticking it to the end of a heavy magnet like this, and I got a light, an LED light on the end of that. I'm going to try to stick this straight down in that back hole down there. There's a back. Maybe I can use this light right here. Yeah, that hole right there. You can follow that down in. Make sure this is exactly in place. This fits in that sleeve right, because the distributor, let me see if I got a distributor laying around. I don't. I'll show you at the end of a distributor where that goes. But definitely make sure you're very aware if you've turned your motor over a time or two, something falls out of it, you don't know what it is, it's that oil pump rod right there. I don't know the actual technical name for it. Oil pump. So I got it down in there with the magnet, and you can feel it goes down, and if you question it, pull it up just a little bit, turn it, and then you can feel as you're turning it, it'll go 180 degrees and then drop right back down. Just that little bit, not a big huge drop or anything. And when you turn it back and forth, you can actually feel the tension of the oil pump down there. So from this point on, we put the intake gasket on and drop the intake on. That's what we do now. This is as far as we're going to make it today. I got one of the headers on over here. This is the I don't know if you call this the easy side. No side's easy with headers, but they're on. I just put the cheap gaskets I got with the head set, and I'm just gonna run them for now. Don't really have the money to be putting into it, so I'm hoping to be driving this. It's supposed, let's see here, today's Thursday, I think. Heck, probably be almost running by tomorrow night, maybe. Really, all I got to do is, I don't want to get the wiring back there too messed up yet. So now that I got the intake on, I can start to move a little bit of stuff around back there. I need to get the fuel lines back in there in their right place in that directional area. Then, throw the throttle body on. That only takes a couple of bolts. Then there's a bracket and a dealy bobber. It goes over here kind of like that. And then these wires over here just plug in a few places and drop some valve covers on it. Throw the fan on, the radiator in, and a couple of hoses and in the front of the motor. But that stuff really doesn't take that long at all. So I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to push it in the rest of the way for the night. I just got to figure out how to do that. So let me figure that out, and I am going to call it for a night. I won't get into the exact reasons why, but I'm going to polish these wheels so they're like chrome. And then that little inside part right there, whatever I paint the bottom half, is going to be painted that color too. So it's going to look pretty nice. I wanted to paint it the color of my semi-truck up there. We'll see if I end up still doing that or not. Very easy color to, it's like a baby blue kind of. And it'd look really nice on here, I think. So it'd set it apart from any other one on the planet. And I got the paint buffed out pretty nice. It's still got problems, but don't we all? I just want to cruise it for a little bit while I got her for sale. So make sure she's a good ride for somebody. Somebody's going to enjoy her. And them holes right there, I might end up trying to make some tips to go out of there. Look kind of neat. Fabricate something neat. Since I learned how to weld, I guess some people argue about that, but I think I've learned how to weld, kind of. Then I've really liked wanting to start to make stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna push this in and call it a night. If you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to my content. I wish I could tell you go over here or go over there for my swag and my hats and my decals and my shirts and stuff, but I don't have any made yet. So the ones I had made were just kind of quick to see, you know, what cost was, and I wore a bunch of them and put a bunch of stickers on. Oh, I had the stickers are on here. I had these decals made. Gave them out to a bunch of people. I might go ahead and make them again. I can get them made for a fairly reasonable price, but this one, all the cool stuff came off of it, but I don't know. Gotta go.